Hello there, my name's Simon from CramTheExam.com and welcome to another English exam question walkthrough video where I take an English exam question. In this case we're going to have a look at the CAE listening part 3. I walk you through it, explaining what the answers are and why the answers are the answers. Hopefully my explanations will help you see where you went wrong, if you went wrong, identify any vocabulary that might be of interest, and give you some exam tips in order to make sure that you get better prepared for your English exam. As mentioned in this video, we're going to have a look at the CAE listening part 3, and you can find this question on the excellent website engexam.info. I've got a link to the website and to this exercise in the video description below, so make sure that you check it out. Now, this website has got plenty of resources for people doing the CAE and other English exams. I use this website quite a lot and I really recommend it. And the listening, one of the reasons why is because it's got such a huge amount of listening resources on there, and that these listening resources are given to you in such a way that you can easily do what I'm about to tell you, because all of the relevant answers, as we'll see in a second, are underlined, or the places where you find the answers are underlined. Okay, so let's begin. For question number 15, Lucy enjoyed building the tree house because it gave her children somewhere to play, presented an interesting design problem, demonstrated the type of work she does, or allowed her to fulfill a childhood ambition. Now, there's plenty of talk about children in the answer. Certainly we can see she was commissioned to design this house by the neighbours for their children. She talks about having playhouses when she was a little girl, but this was nothing like this, nothing to do with this tree house. I'd given anything for this house when I was a child, so she would have liked this house when she was a child. But there's nothing that talks about giving her children somewhere to play. So neighbours' children, remember. And there's nothing here about explicit vocabulary links that talk about her being allowed to fulfill a childhood ambition. So we can cross out A and D. Does it demonstrate the type of work she does? Just because she's commissioned to design it doesn't mean that it isn't explicit enough in terms of vocabulary links to say, this is the kind of work that I do. Indeed, she talks about specialising in small buildings, but not that she built the treehouse to demonstrate what she does. We can imply that, certainly, but there's no explicit vocabulary links. But there is a clear vocabulary link between the text or the listening and B, presenting an interesting design problem. And we can see that here, where engexam have underlined the relevant part of the text. But I loved the challenge of weaving the house in amongst the branches. So this is the interesting design problem, and that's our vocabulary link. For question 16, what fascinated Lucy about the historical phone boxes? Was it their international character, their luxurious interiors, their range of styles, the quality of their instructions? Well, here, contextually, she talks about one topic which includes many of the answers. So here you've got to listen carefully and weigh up the decision. What's the main topic being discussed? What's the main issue? Is it the international character, luxurious interior, range of styles, or quality of constructions? And you'll see here where the relevant piece of the listening is underlined, we're talking about the range of styles. They were all sizes and styles. Nice vocabulary link. There were some that looked like rustic cottages with thatched roofs, others were like Chinese pagodas, one like a sort of Greek table, some were luxurious with chairs. People used to go in there and play cards. So, yes, there's mention here, for example, of luxurious, which links to B. In terms of vocabulary, yes, there's Chinese, Greek, which refer to international character, quality of construction. Nothing was said about quality of construction, but there's certainly different constructions. But the fact that this discussion talks about the range of what all of these things look like means that we're talking about C, the range of styles, and that's why the answer is C. At 17, at college, Lucy designed small buildings. So they could be assembled in shorter time, would better comply with safety rules, would have a wide range of uses, or could be built in a simpler style. Certainly, nearly all of these, if not all of them, are touched upon in the in what she says. My final year project was on small buildings. And then she goes into the discussion, and she says, and she talks about the ease of building them, I guess, as this by way of introduction. Then she talks about safety standards. They've got to conform to safety standards. So that you might think, B. Okay, I've heard safety, it might be B, but would comply better with safety rules? There's nothing in the listening that talks about complying with safety rules. So it's not going to be B. But she does say, I designed them to look better, which links to the question. At college, Lucy designed small buildings. So you could say that the introduction is all about other people designing small buildings. Here it says I designed them to look better and also to be put up and dismantled more quickly. So did she assemble them to be built in a shorter time? Yes, because she says that she wants them to be put up and dismantled, in other words, assembled and disassembled more quickly. Does her building better comply with safety rules? No. Is there conversation about her building have a wide range of uses? No. And being built in a simpler style? Nothing about the detailing in this part of the listening. So the answer here is clearly A. Lucy got the idea for a folding market stall. Right. And from her parents, from travelling salesman when she was at a trade fair, or while she was on an overseas trip. Well, the interviewer says, where did you get your inventiveness from? So this is a general question. Where did the creativity come from? She says parents were market stall holders. They had a cumbersome stall, which took forever to put up, and then she was complaining that she had to help them do this. So did she get the idea from her parents? Is there anything there that says, my parents told me about this and therefore I went to do it? No, there's not. Is there anything there from travelling salesman? No. Does she talk about being at a trade fair anywhere? No. But she does say next, I was visiting some clients abroad a few years ago, and then she saw some brilliant stalls in the market, and then she went to build, and then she came back home and then she built one. So the idea for a folding market stall was when she was abroad on an overseas trip, and that's why the answer is D. For 19, what did Lucy like best about her award-winning design? This is the next bit, but I did get an award. The Newspaper Sellers Association gave me a prize for design, which I did for street corner kiosks. You know, those cute little buildings with display windows on 3 sides. Mine were in strong steel, painted with domed roofs, and lots of decorative detail. I must admit, I was particularly pleased with the fancy work and the newspaper people designed it. So, the question is, what did she like best? And that links to I was particularly pleased. I liked best. I was particularly pleased. And in this case, what follows was the fancy work. In other words, she's referring to the decoration used in her construction, not the shape, not the display shape, and not the building material. So here, the fancy work refers to the decoration. And lastly, for 20, the hotel phone booths which Lucy worked on were developed with mobile phone users in mind, designed for countries with relatively few mobile phones, placed at the entrance to the hotel lobby, intended to be the largest feature of the lobby. She says that she was working for an international hotel chain. They stopped putting public phone booths in their lobbies because of mobile phones. But there were complaints from a few countries where mobiles hadn't really caught on yet. In other words, there were complaints from a few countries where people didn't really use mobile phones. And by safe inference, we can assume that these people used hotel lobby phones instead. So the hotel decided to make a big feature of lobby phone boxes. And then she talks about what she did, and then now what the hotel company's doing and where they're putting them. So if we take that summary across to the questions, Did she make the hotel phone booths and develop them with mobile phone users in mind? No, she developed them because hotels there were people in hotels who weren't using mobile phones, so that's not A. Designed for countries with relatively few mobile phones? Yes, because this is where people didn't have many mobile phones, or where mobile phones hadn't really caught on yet. They are in the hotel lobby, but not at the entrance to the hotel lobby. There's nothing here in the listening that says that they were at the entrance of the hotel lobby, and there's nothing in the text that specifically says that they were going to be the largest feature of the lobby. Certainly it says over-the-top telephones, but if something's over the top, it means it's done in a slightly exaggerated style. So it's big and beautiful and brash, but not that it's going to be the largest feature of the hobby. Of the lobby, sorry, not hobby. So the answer here is B. And that's why I think the answers are the answers. And you'll see that I largely agree, if not completely agree, with what engexam.info says. So why do you need me? You just need the excellent website. But if you disagree with anything that I said, or indeed anything that the website suggests, then let me know in the comment section below and I will get back to you. You can see that this is a slightly tricky question. You've got to listen carefully. You've got to ask yourself, what are the vocabulary links and what are the contextual links? Both are important questions, because if you just listen to vocabulary links, you're going to get the question wrong. Because as we broke down those questions, you could see that all of the answers were reflected in some way in the text. So it's vocabulary plus context. What's the main argument? What's the main issue? And if you work that bit out, then you're going to get the answer correct. And that comes with practice. Okie dokie. If you haven't seen my other videos and the other content that I do, then make sure that you check out my channel and of course subscribe to see any new content that I produce. And I'll see you again soon with another video.